Do they try and take something here like the Tristana? Yeah, honestly, it's literally just Uno reverse.
It is swapped, but I like the Tristana here for RNG because, as we said, look, the Jinx doesn't really facilitate them playing through side lane particularly well. You've got the triple flex here as well for RNG. Now, we haven't seen Tristana for Cryin in the mid yet, but you can just take that in the bot side or towards Xiao, who has played Tristana top as well, and they will go towards leaving that flexibility. And now as well for RNG, I think you go towards the support. Maybe a Gragas here for Ming. It's the second most played champion, does really well against the Rel. It just looks perfect for him.
Yep, get to stop that kind of interaction. It's kind of the go-to when the Alistar's been banned away. You tend to see against the Rel something like the Gragas that has good disengage, good ways of stopping the crash down from catching out your AD carry. And this time around, we are going to see FBX pick up the Kai'Sa for LWX.
I love LWX Kai'Sa. Like, he's a 77% win rate on this from the regular season. He just looks super, super good on it. We saw him twice on it in the playoffs as well, looking just as clean. So I like this coming through from FBX. A strong, strong bot lane. You got great synergy between the Rel and the Kai'Sa as well. But we have to see what the priority is going to be, because already you can see no solo laners picked up on either side, although maybe Tristana flex top. But FPX are going to go, right, we're going to get rid of the Lucian, probably get rid of something like the Gnar as well, take the Orianna here for Doomby on this next rotation, and keep that counter pick for Nuguri. It's been the new strategy for FPX.
Yeah, honestly, I think, I would not be surprised to see FBX go, right, we banned the Lucian, we banned the Azir again. You mentioned that you'd love to see Cryin on something like that. Not going to be able to get it, but RNG, they're going towards the weird and wonderful. They're banning away those kind of big bruisers that can be flexed now that you see FBX have that AP jungle.
Yeah, the only other thing that I kind of look towards Doomby for is maybe like the Rumble or the Rise have been the other big ones. His set has been pretty lackluster. I actually don't like his set. I think he plays a little bit too aggro, goes a bit too deep into the fights before the team can follow up. So I think RNG would be happy to let that one through. But for FPX here, we'll see probably the Gnar or even maybe a Jace ban here.
See what they want to go for. None ban. They did not ban in time, and therefore they do not get a ban. So FBX losing out on this second rotation, a little bit of a mistake there, but we'll leave it there in the dust. They'll have to deal with the results of that now. But RNG, where do you want to take this final ban? Where do you want to try and just move out? Do you look to try and, as you say, focus out towards Doomby? Do you look to try and focus out towards the top lane? You've got a couple of options available too, and they do ban away the Jace.
Yeah, so I think here, I mean, look, you have the Lucian ban, you have the Jace. Could actually go towards the Gnar here if you really wanted to as Nuguri. Like, there's not a huge amount of picks that are left open. Xiao, who obviously going to be an Aurelia player, maybe they're a bit worried about that, but it looks like what we already talked about. They'll leave that counter pick for Nuguri. Orianna's open. Doomby would take his hands onto that. Probably see Cryin go back towards the Victor or an Azir here, and it looks like it'll actually be RNG who are going to take that Gnar.
Yeah, honestly, I think the Gnar is fine here. You know you're not going to get absolutely blasted in topside now with the Jace, as we can see the team supporting rate going a little bit for, yeah, and there's the Aurelia is going to be able to put it into it. But the Azir locked in here for RNG. It's going to be a little bit more in the wheelhouse for Cryin, and the Aurelia locked in here for Nuguri. Going to be a lot of pressure towards that top side.
Yeah, so this is the third time we've seen Nuguri take it, and even in playoffs, we saw it against Ore, where he had that game against Cube in that top lane. He didn't have the best of time, honestly. He actually got a heavy amount of focus coming through from Ore, and it made it a bit of a disaster for Nuguri. But certainly if this matchup is left to the 1v1, Nuguri does have the advantage. With RNG, though, having a little bit of an easier time when it comes towards the bottom side of the map, with the push power that they have in mid, I think it's easier for Wei this time to facilitate Xiaohu a bit more. And then eventually after, you've got a bit of help already for that Gnar, move down towards these dragons and start to play off the push power you've got with Tristana in that bottom side of the map.
Looking to try and strike back after FBX took the advantage. We'll let the Gyos go.
Sorry, as someone who has respect for himself, I don't. But I mean, maybe you still do. I'm not going to say anything,
Hey, you can't help with who you love, all right? You can't choose who. You get a nice little bit of an aggressive ward here from the side of RNG onto the Raptors. They are going to be able to kind of be reassured as to where TN is pretty much once they hit that 2-minute mark, and they're going to be able to kind of keep themselves safe regardless.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now what happens on this top towards Nuguri, but with Tien also passing up that way, it feels like FPX are ready for this. It does.
See what they're able to kind of go for those Scuttle Crabs. You will have early priority in the mid lane with Crying on the Azir now. Is something that just kind of generally gets that push prio, and it's again something that we saw FBX ban in game 1. They did misbanned in game 2. So a game.
Yeah, I think it's just more so it keeps Wei safe. I think that's the big one for me here. When I was looking at Teething up towards this top side, he is going to be here in case anything happens, but I'm actually looking at Xiao, who have the opportunity for Wei to make a gank towards his top side.
Gotta be careful though. Level 3 Aurelia with the passive is a bit of a nuisance, to say the least. And if you do get caught out by the flawless duet of the stun, you will get a hell of a lot of damage pushed back on top of you. Of course, her passive, when she gets that one stacked up, does a hell of a amount of work. You get the phase rush, swaps it back for a comet. Just a bit of trading here in the mid lane. They're going to pop out their pots and get themselves back. This way. Going to find himself TN, but TN is pathing the Scuttlebug towards the top as best he can.
But Nuguri can just come down as well. Doombi, although he's trading hard,
makes the definitely least favorable trade. Doombi is here, but again, not a lot of mana. Nuguri first to rotate. It looks like they're just going to have to give this one up. TN not going to care now. I'm going to try and move up back to him.
Like if Xiaohu pushes in, you've got mid push, you've got top push, you get that Scuttle, you then rotate that push in top lane. When you look towards Doombi as well, really smart play from him to go for that heavy trade to make sure he could get control of mid to help out in that scenario. And then Gala and Ming just not respecting the all-in potential from Crisp and LWX.
3 or 4 minutes. Just wait to see now what the next kind of big one is. And you get the reset now for the Kai'Sa. You get yourself back into the lane. You're going to be in a much better position to be able to contest for those early Drakes.
And when you look towards level 6 with the potential for Tien to come in here, Crisp to look towards these engages as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tien trying to play a little bit through this bottom side and look towards these early dragons. It actually makes Wei have a bit of a difficult time to try and play through Gala and Ming.
Again, we were kind of talking about in game 1, but for Gala and Ming, excuse me, not Gala and Ming, Wei and Ming, it's kind of about them kind of roaming around the maps, dictating the pace, looking to make advantages for their laners. And if you keep Wei down,
And you can see Xiaohu's definitely not having the best of times in this top lane as well. He does need some help, especially if Nuguri, actually pushing Xiaohu off there. He can look to freeze here. Tien is even here to make sure that Nuguri
went down on top of him, and there is no escape. Tien with the second kill of the game, exactly how you said it would go down.
And now Wei is on this bottom side, but he's already spotted by a ward. He can try and turn this in towards a dragon, but still needs to be pretty careful because Nuguri does have that TP where Xiaohu just burnt his, so they could look for something.
Yeah, they're going to jump straight in on LWX, who does not have his flash. They do get the knockup, but hey, a double belly bop, so LWX will fall. Nuguri does flash in with the Vanguard's head and get himself.
Wasn't quite able to get into that bottom lane in time, so it is a bit of a messy play from FPX. However, you are breathing such a sigh of relief as RNG. In fact, Crying has 2 kills now, and you're able to turn around that play, including keeping Gala alive. That is massive for RNG.
And not only that, but you're giving free time to Xiaohu now. He's going to be able to freeze that wave near him. I'm going to have to stop myself as there is a shockwave available. Ming is here. Wei gets himself the chicken, gets brought back. Still pretty tanky. And should be able to walk out unscathed.
Yeah, Crisp not quite there in time. Crying now moving back from coming in from base as well. So FPX are doing a good job of playing through this jungle, but do need to be careful as Gala's coming across. LWX not quite in position here.
Well, they're going to try to go for it. Smite goes down. Tien picks up that one there. Has a little bit of a level lead now as he's got himself about 3 camps ahead of this Udyr. But again, early game is very much skirmish heavy with both sides trying to push and pull, trying to get their advantages going for them.
Let's talk about the big winners though, because if you're Crying, all right, 2 kills, wonderful. You will be accelerated. However, Doombi's still fine to just wave clear in mid. It's not like it's disrupted that lane matchup massively. Whereas when you look towards topside, Nuguri now already working towards that Blade of the Rune King very quickly. The CS lead, the kill advantage. When he gets that Blade of the Rune King, it becomes so hard for Xiaohu to actually disengage because of the slows that item provides. So this is actually a bit of a win for FPX when we look towards the early lane phase, but when we look towards, the 20 to 25 minute mark for team fights, that's when Crying can turn these 2 kills into something bigger.
Well, if it worked once, why not work twice? As Tien gets himself caught though. Xiaohu says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. As he keeps himself safe. This wave is pushing into him, so we won't lose anything really off it. Tien's still hovering around the top side, making sure it's as dark and difficult for the top laner of RNG as possible.
Yeah, especially when you know Crisp is roaming up from bot side, right? They're completely dark as to where the FPX bot lane is. So RNG are going to play the safe way, might move in here to see if he can spot out what's going on, with Xiaohu at least coming down to give him a hand with that.
Yeah, and they're just trading vision right now. You can see Wei just trying to make sure his top laner is still behind, though, a little bit on the old CS and the levels. So definitely not looking the strongest in this jungle. But when that's all happening, Tien just says, hey, I'm back. I never really left. Vanguard's Edge just get a nice stun, though, here. As we can see the lilting lullaby. Can he keep his top laner alive? Wei cannot. And he does lose his flash. So again, FPX, explosive early games and just getting advantage after advantage.
And this is the thing, like, yes, you've got Tien playing towards it, but Nuguri has been doing this all split long. Like, he's, as we said, second highest in damage percent for a team when it comes towards the regular split. He had 31% of the team's damage so far in playoffs, and that's not even withstanding the fact highest goal difference of 15 for a top laner, highest CSD 15 for a top laner, at 15 CS difference. Like, this guy is a monster, and FPX has gone, hang on, why don't we just utilize this? Why don't we just kill them?
The big brain move, the 5-head move as such. It's just like, oh my god, Nuguri can be carry. He can be carry potential here for us. And it's working a wonder here now. They got themselves a 1,500 gold lead. They have the Rift Herald in the back pocket. Dragon's still on the board, so not even stacking against them as of yet. And I gotta say, Wei, yes, he's got 3 assists, but he's kind of been a little bit kind of run ragged at the moment. He's kind of trying to stop all the fires at once and not really doing anything in the grand scheme of things.
And this is the thing, like, Wei has been very good at playing towards Xiao. But when you've got, as you said, multiple fires in multiple different places, it becomes very hard for you to try and set yourself up correctly as RNG. Now, it looks like we're starting to get into a position where they do have a little bit more control on this mid to bot side of the map. They just need to make sure that Wei can, after this dragon goes down, return top, make sure that that fire is quelled and that Nuguri isn't just taking over, because with the combo FPX have, Nuguri will have a field day dashing between these fights after a lullaby comes through, after a shockwave comes down, and that's not even talking about Crisp with this rail.
Because Tien's going top, doo-doo. He wants the world to know. Got to drop Rift Herald. Yeah, honestly, this right now, Tien, not even going to drop the Rift Herald just yet. Nice little... excuse me, clearing of the wave. My brain just turned off.
It was like karaoke?
Yeah.
We're still in karaoke?
Honestly, my brain was just like, we got it. We got all the lyrics going for us there. But they will eventually be able to get that one down. They will obviously get the turret as well, because right now you can't go anywhere near this top side. But I look at the mini-map. I like this little move here from Wei and Ming. They're trying to make sure that Crying gets as much returned here in this mid lane.
It's not going to be enough, though. Like, Nuguri is so damn large right now. And but the thing is, he can continue to look towards like terror dives onto the mini Gnar, especially when he starts to move up towards like the Stride Breaker. Like, this is going to be really, really hard for Xiaohu to deal with. So although you are getting like the Azir fed, it's a long time before that cash kind of comes in. Like, you need to wait an entire year essentially for those dividends to come in, versus maybe like crypto where you can sell it like tomorrow, so, which is basically what we're getting from Nuguri.
It's the day trading kind of like, I need to make money today, versus the, you know what, I have it in my back pocket. But Crisp, a little bit of trouble. Explosive cast is nice. Flash away by Crisp. Does not get anywhere to go, though. And he was bounced around the house there. Crying picks up that kill. And that's a nice little pickup there. Nice little bit of extra gold. Like you said, the investment, the nest egg.
Yeah, and I mean, look, they're definitely stocking up nicely. 3 kills now. This is going to be a pretty big Exir, and I think that's the part that we have to look at for RNG, is if Crying can get big enough, he's got these Emperor's Divides, he can do work in these team fights as long as he's protected. And when you've got a Gragas there, when you've got Wei who can play defensive, and hell, even Xiaohu as well, who can just defensively ult with this Mega Gnar, that does bode pretty well for RNG.
Well, for FPX, they're not going to let them get to that point. They are not going to allow them the satisfaction of knowing it. Wei gets Shockwave in, lilting Lullaby, but there's no follow-up. You've no wave. It kind of feels like a little bit of a miss trigger there from Tien, maybe a little bit too late as the rest of his team was backing up, but you get yourself a couple of plates into that mid lane, you get yourself more pressure, and while that was happening, you can see on the bot side, LWX is just free to push.
But I love this from FPX, right? The reason Xiaohu has been so able to contend with... Actually, hold on.
Here we go. Teleports coming in. LWX in a little bit of trouble. He flashes away. They get 2 teleports out of everybody. It's going to be all 5 members of everyone here in this bot side. Crying still has not got the Emperor's Divide. Xiaohu forced to flash, so it's flash for flash. Do you go in now? LWX, he has the mark, but he doesn't have the cojones. And now Tien
Needs to be a little bit careful with the protection of the rest of his team. Should be fine, and that's all the globals down.
But this is what I was about to say. I love this from FPX. Because the reason Xiaohu's been able to contend with top laners is because Wei has been facilitating. Ming has as well as... Oh, buddy.
Oh, he flashes away. He still gets the shuffle. The shifting sands just coming out there. Very nicely done. But Doumbé, he's getting more gold. He's getting more money. He's getting themselves lined and ready for this next team
But
fight.
it's more fires in that bottom lane, right? And this is what RNG are trying to deal with. And because Tien has been doing such a good job of invading with Doumbé, with Crisp, forcing RNG to deal with issues on the bottom side of the map, it's allowed the 1v1 between Xiaohu and Nuguri to happen. And now Xiaohu, he's been called out. He's like, look, Nuguri is a goddamn world champion. This guy knows how to beat you back every step of the way in the top lane. And Xiaohu's feeling that full wrath now because he's not able to get these counter picks. Because Nuguri is constantly on red side and taking picks like this Aurelia to punish Xiaohu in the laning phase.
I mean, it's the ultimate test when you think about it. Like, you know, this is the current League of Legends world champion in top lane. He is the gold standard for what you aspire to be in League of Legends for top laners. And if you can't go up against him, then you're probably just not going, oh, Tien caught between a rock and a hard place, or a bird and a bear. Trying to get himself out, flashes away, just about gets the Lilting Lullaby out, but there's the Vanguard's edge. Nice flash.
Oh,
Nuguri!
Nuguri!
Oh my god, the flawless duet was just that. Nuguri is online, unlocked, and in charge.
He's absolutely unleashed this game. Oh, Doumbé, hang on.
Oh, no shockwave here, but he does have a flash, and the explosive cast not going to be enough. So you're burning a lot of summoners here
Nuguri's
on the side of
behind him,
FPX, but Nuguri is there, but has no flash, has no Vanguard's edge. Not really a position you want to be going for.
Still, though, this is so nicely played by FPX. Like, Tien, don't get me wrong, definitely not the place he wanted to be. Did get...
Oh, nicely done. And now Crisp is caught out, gets shuffled back. Might be able to get the Magnet Storm down, though, as they try and take him out. Ignite ticking over. Cryan will fall down, and now Ming needs to get himself out of dodge. He's trying to run away. Will have the body slam to go back, but Gala's here. Flash body slam into the bear slap, into the jump over, as Nuguri will be taken down. It is going to be Wei who gets that. Another 1-2 quick punch as the Dragon has spawned, but it will be going over to FPX.
But here, look, FPX, they get Dragon, they get bot tower, and yes, it is some kills and some much needed bounty gold into the hands of RNG, but honestly, you're still winning as FPX across the map. Now, RNG are like, right, we have to make something for this. They're going to go for the Rift Herald.
They're going to go for the Rift Herald, but look at that
gold.
The gold between Xiaohu and Nuguri is it's literally the gold difference. Like, minus 1,000, which I think is between Wei and Tien. So it's just insane.
Yeah, we thought the Dragon was actually on the bottom side of the map. It's Nuguri who's just hoarding it. The Dragon's gold all around him. And he's looking pretty penny like right now, because he's got so much there. We're already working towards that Stride Breaker. We talked about the potency of this Blade of the Rune King into the Gnar and Aurelia matchup, and you just have this powerhouse that FPX can leave in a side lane, and for RNG, they need to find some way to deal with it. But with Xiaohu again on this Gnar, not having the impact they want, the rest of the map starts to fall apart because FPX are free to do what they want with it.
If FPX can keep up this kind of pace, RNG will be drowning. They don't no idea. They have no idea how to kind of deal with this one. But this is just got a very scrappy fight. It looks like Tien gets caught, but the Lilting Lullaby, the sleep duration, just keeps it long enough for Nuguri to get in position.
Yeah, the movement speed that gets offered by the passive as well, really important there. And that from Nuguri was just beautiful. Completely blind in that scenario as well. This is just beautiful. And I want to see this. Like, this is where we get to see why that veterancy for these players makes such a difference. Because when you look towards the likes of Cryan, when you look towards the likes of Gala, these guys have never really hit a world stage. But you have a 2019 world champions across all 4 lanes. When you look towards that top lane, you've got Nuguri, this world champion as well. And that's why he's forcing RNG to go for these 1v3s, because of the amount of attention he draws. He thrives on this pressure, and FPX look amazing as a result.
3,500 gold lead, or just a little bit above it, as we start to see pretty much all first items being picked up. And all this has all been happening as well. You can see LWX now got the Collector, got himself the Kraken Slayer, so he is feeling very happy right now.
And honestly, Penguin, I'm starting to feel a little bit worried about our predictions. And
a little.
It's when I look
it was
back,
RNG across the board.
That is fair. But when I look back at history for these two teams, like, these two teams have only met once in a playoff scenario. and that was Summer Finals, where FPX beat RNG 3-1. And then they went on to win the World Championship. And now FPX, they really do look like they have RNG's number this series.
And I'm not trying to make false equivalencies, but if FPX win this series,
They win Worlds.
they win Worlds. It's just how it is in Shenzhen. But long way to go in this series before that. You got to be careful here if you're Ming. He will get the Blade Storm on top of him, excuse me, the Magnet Storm. Doomby does not get his Shockwave off, but the Flawless Duet right down on top of Xiaohu, who jumps out. Tien has to go golden. You can see, oh, Gala gets caught out right in the middle of everything. LWX now going to be joining this fight. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of FPX, and RNG, they're heading for the hills.
They have to. They're all being chased down by FPX. They smell blood in the water, and already they can push in mid, or they can look for things.
They get out.
They will get out. I actually think this is a mistake from FPX. I think you just let them. You go towards mid tower. You could have snowballed this a little bit more. They should still get it, but at least they get that little bit of a faster reset in. But Tien still being a nuisance in this RNG jungle. It's been happening all series long. He's been taking everything away from Wei. A 3-level lead for the Lilia right now.
It is absolutely monstrous what's the difference between Tien and Wei right now. As you mentioned, 3 levels, a hell of a lot of gold, and I really want to see just how those, because Gala looks like he's got a fantastic position, but just as he tries to jump out and flash, Crisp catches him out with the Rel, and it just sets up absolutely everything. Now, looking at the Aurelia, 5-2-2, you've got the Stride Breaker, so you've got, again, another gap closer to try and jump onto these people, but let's have a look at this, because this does look a little bit like everyone's kind of collapsing onto FPX, and Doomby gets blown up before it even starts.
Yeah, you can see Ming does a pretty good job there of actually dissuading the engage and buying time. So he's able to get that cask off, reset the fight for RNG. But that double sleep means that Gala's on his own. And Crisp there, absolutely beautiful. The flash forward when he's in the melee start, but off the horsey, means he can flip him over the back of himself and find that kill. And then
he's just dead. There's nothing he can do. Crying gets 1v1 there by LWX. It will happen.
And that's the most fed member of RNG. That's the Azir with the 4 kills. That's the Azir that RNG are banking on, and he's just been completely wiped off by LWX. So now FPX very firmly in control. 5,000 gold lead for them. And RNG, this is a miracle. If they get this, this is all desperation.
They're trying to force the fight here. Doomby did TP back into the mid lane. I'm sorry, Nuguri did. Doomby
it's going
was already
down fast.
there. It's going down very, very fast. You can see the Magnet Storm as Crisp goes a little bit far forward. He will have Xiaohu going Mega very, very soon, but if that's all he has to expend, then he should be fine with it. RNG looking to try and see if they can get anything else off it. Gala pushes himself forward towards a potential fight. But you give yourself a little bit of time, you give yourself a little bit of ultimates, but you're not going to be able to contest this dragon.
Yeah, Crisp missing that Magnet Storm, but there we go!
They find themselves a little bit of a pick on Crisp, and Crisp will go down. Now RNG then go straight back towards this Baron.
It looks like LWX is going to take this dragon, then move across, but that could be the pick for RNG that gets them back in this game. They melt this Baron so damn fast.
You have so many ways of making this one. Swirl Seed lands. Here we go. The Baron is going down. 2,000 HP. Now you've got Tien in the pit. He's going to try and go for Explosive Cast. Is genuinely perfect. Is now Nuguri trying to see if he can catch anyone. Stride Breaker's folded. Flawless Duet is not flawless here. Flash from Wei as he gets himself out. That should be the rest of RNG trying to see if they can go away from this, but they flash forward. Vanguard head misses. LWX jumps in with the Killer Instinct. Can they get anyone else out, though? There's going to be enough to drag back Ming, but the TP is now in favor of side of RNG. Puts in Xiaohu, who will have Mega very, very soon. There he is. He's not quite able to transform. You lose 2. FBX, make sure you are punished. RNG get the Baron, but at what cost?
As Xiaohu was so close to turning into Mega, maybe he gets the stun, maybe he turns it around. And now FPX, they're looking to turn this back in favor of themselves. You've got 25 seconds until Xiaohu spawns, but FPX would be happy just taking this top lane turret.
They get a couple of kills. They get a couple of those Baron buffs killed off as well. And just look at this, still yet to lose a tier 1 turret. You can see there 6,000 gold or 5,500 gold in favor of FBX. They've got themselves 2 dragons. Luckily for RNG, they did take the first one, so that dragon stack not quite there yet. But let's have a look at this escape, because right now this is just FBX knowing they're stronger.
But RNG, they were out. They had got the cookie in hand. They were no longer in the jar. And Xiaohu has to TP in here to try and save it, but I think you let it go. You would have been able to walk away, and with Xiaohu coming in now, that's 2 members that are down. And he didn't even have his ultimate for this. This was just Xiaohu going way too deep. And I think, honestly, maybe he missed timing.
He
looked like it.
Yeah,
Crying.
Oh, the damage trouble, but the damage back onto LWX. 1v2. Still not great for the side of RNG, as they're the ones with the Baron buff, but you'll take that trade, and they finally cracked themselves a tier 1.
Yeah, this is much needed for RNG. At least that Baron is giving them some nest egg gold, but they're actually trying to find where Tien is here.
Oh, he's got him. He knows where he is, and he's going to jump straight in on top of him. There is a lilting lullaby, but I think Tien knows he's dead. 2 rights, 2 way, and he will take him out. 2 quick kills here for RNG, and like you said, that little bit of gold, it's now 4,000.
Yeah, and those picks keep on rolling. Another tower for RNG. Like, there is a lot of standing gold on this map for RNG right now. And the fact that FPX keep getting caught with their pants down is a bit worrying. They need to be playing as a cohesive unit, getting their waves in order, using the fact that Nuguri is massive alongside LWX to find those opportunities to make the picks happen, to make these side lanes go in their favor. However, 2.5 minutes until this dragon. A potential 3rd dragon coming in for FPX. If they can find good flanks, coming in for Nuguri, coming in for Tien, it does become difficult for RNG to just take these fights.
Take a breather, everyone.
Take a chill.
Take a chill pill, take a breath. A drink of water.
How are we supposed?
Check Twitter.
We're basically a kill a minute.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, look, it's an FPX game, right? These guys average a kill a minute.
You're at 11
this,
kills at 6 minutes
still,
in the last game.
Yeah.
But this is how these 2 teams have been playing. If we looked at the regular season game, it was team fights, and we mentioned it before we went into game 1 that it was all about how these team fights are executed. And speaking of executed, Gala is dead. Now LWX going to see if he can get anything else, but immediately you're already at a disadvantage now.
LWX and Kai'Sa, man. How does he do it? How does he always manage this? There's highlight reels of him beating back WE on this pick. Now we're getting it in round 4 of the playoffs. Them finding these picks on towards RNG, and it's off of that powerhouse AD carry, LWX.
Nuguri just see if he can get a cheeky little move down to Xiaohu, but the Gnar should not be killed. Wei is nowhere near this. He will have the Azir, though. Baron is not on the field, neither is the Dragon, so you can see they're just trying to get as much gold as they can, take away all these camps here from RNG by FPX, and see if you can just get everything to be in your advantage.
And honestly, this is a masterclass from Tien. Because I've been looking at Wei and I'm like, he actually may be my favorite jungler. Well, he's definitely my favorite jungler, but might be one of the best junglers we have. He's definitely top 2 in the LPL. Tien has come back off his hiatus and gone, hang on a second, lads. This meta is shifting in towards ganking. This meta is shifting in towards my style of play. And he's gone, yeah, that's cool, but I also have this different style where I'm able to get these invades off. I'm able to play my game and shut down everything RNG are trying to do.
Full item for Nuguri as well, ahead of his counterpart. You can see the makings of a half item there for Tien over Wei. Wei's in a fine spot right now. He's got his 2 kind of tanky items. He'll be a very fast boy running around this map. But now, RNG, 13 seconds of those dragon spawns.
Xiaohu's not here though. He is walking across now, but they still need to make sure that he can actually join in with RNG here. Now, at least having this control over the river is good for RNG because they can spot these flanks, but they still need to be careful as Xiaohu trying to see if he can come in and catch FPX unaware.
Very important to recognize. No flash for LWX, does have the cleanse. Flash for Gala, but everything else is pretty much up on the board. Flash for Nuguri will be available. It's going to be the Soul now set up for FPX.
Xiaohu's looking.
Xiaohu is looking. I think FPX want to try and just keep themselves at arm's length, and they will just take the Dragon. They've got to push in the mid lane. They've got the inside track.
One. RNG, they've got to exit stage right, and FPX are like, cool, we'll run it down this mid lane. They should be able to crack the base, as the recalls are only just coming in for RNG.
Yeah, you'll be able to take this inhibitor, no problem whatsoever, and this is why, if you're ever wondering, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop myself there as Nuguri jumps in, flawless duet, they do get the explosive cast down, but nobody gets caught in it.
Look at Gala. Gala's only just resetting, like, you can't even fight this now as Nuguri gets on towards Xiaohu.
And he's taking no damage as well. Now he takes a little bit of damage, as we do see finally some semblance of a carry coming in here from RNG's side, but that is a perfect example as to why you need mid-prio before you go for Dragon. If you don't get the Dragon and you end up losing that, LWX just go forward, but ends up kind of keeping himself a safe distance away. But now with this Baron kind of on the cards, do they just kind of burn this one down? Honestly, it's something they can do.
You do have to be careful though. Again, Xiaohu, if he gets that big ultimate off, crying, Gala, like there's so much damage that can come off in these pits. You need to make sure that you're separated as FPX. Nuguri has a lot of free reign in these fights, but RNG now starting to push in. They can hop over the wall in a lot of scenarios to just start this fight.
Oh,
TP
they're going
top
for Tien. They're going in straight in on top of Tien, who is going to have to try and get himself out of this. Doomby trying to delay everyone. The swirl seed is there. The TP in, but the flash shuffle. Tien is still in his stasis, but will fall to Cryin. Now, you're 5v4 on the map. Baron is there. You have no jungler, FPX.
Xiaohu, though, is on top side, so FPX are so careful to come through these tight corridors. This is a field day for Xiaohu if he can find it.
Here we go, starting up the Baron here for RNG. This is how you get yourself back into the game. Xiaohu will go mini very, very soon. Wei is taking a bit of punishment. They jump straight onto Nuguri, who gets the flawless duet and jumps forward. The Vanguard's ledge lands onto everybody. He gets a Stark pop as Elderwex jumps in. Gala is dead, as is the Azir and the Udyr, and the rest of RNG will fall. Triple kill here for LWX on this Kai'Sa. He doesn't need any of his summoners, and the rest of FPX going to run down this mid lane and put themselves at match point for this series.
It's a whitewash for FPX. That's the combo we were talking about when you look towards Doomby, Chris, Nuguri, Vanguard's Edge into Shockwave, into disaster for RNG, and FPX, they will close out game 2.
They will indeed. They've got everything going for them. They were able to punish this Gnar blind. It's a delayed Quadra for LWX. The Nexus turrets fall. The Nexus sure to follow. And FPX set themselves up 2-0 in this series over RNG. They will pad the stats a little bit, but there's nothing you can do to stop Destiny.
I mean, the Phoenix is rising. This has been incredible from FPX. The ability for them to have full control of this early game, find the powerhouse movements to just get them into these team fight victories and just outplay RNG on the map. Now, RNG are making these nice picks happen, but it's really not enough with the bumper that is there for FPX.
And every single time now we've seen FPX hard punish this Gnar blind. Hard punish it. The Jace, the Aurelia, and they're basically saying, yeah, take the Gnar. We don't care. We know that we have picks enough, or at least with Nuguri, we have enough champions in the pool to be able to make sure that this pick doesn't have any relevance in this kind of game. And I think right now, if I'm RNG, stop blinding it. You got to go with something slightly different. You got to give Xiaohu some kind of a matchup where he can be the carry.
Yeah, and I mean, look, they keep opting into this blue side. I really think they need to go towards the red side here.
Yep.
Having that counter pick is so important. I know they've played most of their games on blue side, but this is a different beast against FPX. And Gnar isn't working out. I think, honestly, I've seen it too many times, and for RNG as a team that I've looked at a lot as, hey, they have a really good understanding of like what the opponent's composition wants to do and how to shut that down, how they can play to their own strengths. It feels like that's all gone out the window. Their drafts haven't been to the same level as we've seen before. They haven't been pivoting as well as they have been in series past, and I think it's making a massive difference here. FPX Nuguri twice has just dominated Xiaohu in lane. Tien is causing all this ruckus on the bottom side that RNG have to respond to, and it's working out beautifully for them.
Yeah, and even there, like even that last team fight there, they found the pick. But that is so much just to get that one kill. And you can see FPX, even 4v5, they're like, we have this. We still have engage options with the Rel. We still have damage down with, Nuguri and the Aurelia, and of course the Shockwave with, the Orianna. And then LWX, the assassination there, there's nothing you can do. So I want to see something different, because this is looking, honestly, it looks like we're catapulting our way towards a 3-0. It's not all doom and gloom, of course, for RNG. RNG will still have the lower end of the bracket. We are going to be having, obviously, a losers bracket coming into it, but this was start to finish FPX all the way.
Yeah, and I think for RNG, they need to find a way to slow down the pace of the game, because as you can see here, like from literally 5 minutes in, they'd already started this snowball rolling in their favor, with Nuguri getting some advantages on the top side. We had the invades coming in from FPX on the bottom side. LWX and Chris doing a fantastic job to facilitate that as well. I think overall, Tien is just playing so much smarter around his lane states and actually getting these opportunities to find the steals on camps, the steals on lives. Everything is coming up for FPX here.
Yeah, it just feels like all around the board, everyone's just playing. Like there's been standout plays from pretty much everybody. And even, like we mentioned at the top of the show, Subdued Doomby, he's on the Orianna. He's on something that's definitely not as flashy as some of the things we've seen, like the Kled, the Renekton and stuff like that. But he's having such a massive impact at just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's just, this is such a different FPX. I'm actually baffled by what I'm seeing. Like, when I was coming into this, I was like, right, FPX, the game plan is simple. What we do is We take this mid lane pick for Doomby. We will roam towards the side lane with Tien, who's on a ganking pick. We'll play through Nuguri. We'll play through LWX in the bottom lane. And that's how we win. We'll just get these snowball rolling. This time around, though, twice now we've seen in this series that they will go for these invades. They will make sure that they're able to shut down Wei, cause a massive ruckus, and give the isolated matchup towards Nuguri in that top lane. It's so damn smart, and it's so cool to see this adaptation come in from FPX as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to see some, or need to see some adaptation from RNG if they want to stay in this series. FPX go 2-0, and when we return, picks and bans for Game 3.